What's up, everybody? Welcome to We're All Geeks. My name is Kenny, and to my left,
I'm Felipe.
and boy, do we got a show for you where we're going to review the Game Awards and talk about all the stuff that happened. Let's dive into who actually won the most awards, and that was Disco Elysium. So they won Best RPG, they won Best Narrative, Best Indie, and Fresh Indie, and that's just off the top of my head. They probably won a couple others that I just can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, a game that's we've known about it for a while. I've been wanting to play for a while, and this just kind of makes me want to play it even more now. So
Yep. I'm gonna check it out based on this show. Like this was a really good selling point for the show for me.
Right.
Also, Death Stranding won about 2 awards, maybe 3, I think.
Yeah, best performance.
Best
right?
performance by Mads Mikkelsen, not Norman, and that was given off air. It sure seems like maybe it's because he wasn't there.
That's that's the only thing I can think of is he's a big celebrity that if they could somehow either get him to show up or do one of those videos where he like accept the awards, they would have definitely shown that.
Right, because I swear they've given this out every year.
Yeah. So because he wasn't there and they probably couldn't get anything from him, then it's like, hey, off the air, by the way, it's really big. I won the thing, but we're not gonna, really make a big deal out of it. So
Another one that Death Stranding actually won was game direction. This one was no one's surprised that
yeah,
Kojima got Best Director. Like, of course.
I think he deserved it. Out of all the games, and that's the one thing that I'll always say about Death Stranding is that they wanted to make the game they wanted to make, and they did it. From hell high water, that's what they wanted to do. Even if it's not fun or there's certain stuff that people don't agree with, they made that game. So
And I mean, stepping back just real quick to the indies, also Outer Wilds. I don't think they won anything, did they?
I don't think so.
They might have won. Like I really want to. Real quickly, I want to check music because every time I think no one, yeah, Death Stranding won music also.
Yeah.
Because every time I'm thinking, oh, but who won music? So yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses did get some love. Strategy game.
Right.
One that I'm still really surprised did not get nominated for Game of the Year at least. Like that just surprised me still.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, maybe because I love that game so much. It's probably my second favorite game of the year, and at least it won that. I was surprised that it didn't go as high, but especially for some of the other games that were nominated for Game of the Year.
Right.
Yeah.
Fighting game. I believe you ended up getting this one right. Smash Bros. Won. I thought Mortal Kombat 11 would win, and I wanted Smash to win, and you wanted Mortal Kombat 11 to win, and you thought Smash would win.
There you go. You got one right.
So yeah, you were right, but I'm happy. So that's that.
Hey, I'm
I'm
happy
better.
too that I'm right. So
Yeah. Smash
it
Ultimate.
works out.
Yeah. I'm just surprised because usually people don't actually like. There's a lot of debate in the fighting game community as to whether or not Smash is actually a fighting game.
I don't think it is.
I think it is. It's a stupid debate. It is a fighting game. It is 100% a fighting game.
I think it's a hybrid. It's more of a brawler than a fighting game, but I can concede that the fact that there's skill and there's all of that involved with other fighting games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it in the same as a Mortal Kombat and a Street Fighter. I think it's its own thing, but that doesn't mean that it needs to follow the conventions of a straight, just a straight up fighting game, like a conventional fighting game.
Right.
So,
I mean, you can turn it into a straight up fighting game.
You can.
You can actually do HP, and you can do Ken and Ryu and the other guy that I really like that just got put in the game, Terry. Yeah, that dude.
Terry.
I actually like using him. That's why it sucks that I forgot his name. Well, let's just call this the Nintendo category, the family game that was all Nintendo games. Luigi's Mansion 3 ended up getting that.
And the Nintendo game won.
Yes, surprisingly, the Nintendo game won the Nintendo category. Little surprise Smash didn't win that also.
Well, I think just especially for the name of the category.
Okay. I
could
family
see.
game. That's only a 2-player game, Luigi's Mansion, right? You can have a player do Luigi.
You can do up to 8 players, like online
Okay.
and stuff like that, where it's like 4 consoles together and then 2 players per console.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I was about to say that's.
When you're
Real
going through
quick.
the list, I'll just mention real quick. I'm surprised. when we were talking about last time about Smash, we were kind of expecting the last like character to get announced. Isn't there one more character? And
yeah, there's one more character left in the pass. It's they promised all of these by the end of February. That is the fine print on the pass is all characters will be released by February 2020. Which, considering the fact that the game came out in December and they were gonna go, yeah, all these characters will be out in 14 months. This will be done. I thought we would get the announcement here.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of other announcements that we're going to talk about for sure, but it was just since we were talking, I was like, hey, they didn't announce that, and we were kind of expecting it.
And this is also where Joker, the first DLC character, was announced, so I assumed
it'd be a nice bookend of like, hey, boom, we started here, we are ending here, here we go.
Here's the end of the season pass. They did already announce they're doing more characters past the season pass. Thank God. Even though the character I wanted is already not going to get in the game. Confirmed.
Sad face.
Yeah, Shovel Knight is already a trophy. Is already an assist trophy.
Moving on.
Art direction. Control.
Yeah.
You know, that beat, I was going with, I think I picked Link on this one. I thought I picked Link's Awakening, or I thought Sayonara Hearts. I definitely didn't think Death Stranding would win. I didn't think so either. I didn't want them to win because their art direction is monotone, and I don't like that. But Control, what they did with an office building that should be monotone and stuff, and the way they transformed that,
Control's awesome.
Like setting. that's a good pick. I also thought Sayonara Wild Hearts would get something due to the fact that game is just art. Like they call it a game/visual album thing. Like I thought that would get art direction for sure. Action adventure game. Sekiro.
That's right.
Is the best action adventure game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even though you say it's not an action adventure game.
Well, but that's just me saying that whatever category Sekiro for, like, when it came to a game itself would be nominated, I thought that he would win.
You're just happy Sekiro won an award. That award.
It's fine.
Best action game went to Devil May Cry. Yeah, I had Astral Chain, having not played Devil May Cry, but it basically was a platinum game versus a platinum game. And these were definitely the two that are just focused on combat.
And this is the thing we talked about last time. We're like, I think that Sekiro should have been in this category as an action game instead of an action adventure game, based on the other ones. But you know, it's okay. It won a different category, and you know, it kind of wants something else. So
yeah, it's just another little one.
Yeah.
Shout out to Destiny 2 winning the Community Support Award. I feel like it got that based on the strength of them saying we're no longer with Activision. I think that move probably did a lot for them. Content Creator of the Year was We Were All Geeks. No, it was
one day.
It was Shroud. Let's see.
Who I don't know who that person is.
Yeah, I believe he's a Fortnite streamer, which most of those were Fortnite streamers.
Sure.
But esports event, League of Legends World Championship 2019. Cool. I wanted Evo to win. Evo's the only esports event. Not the only. I do a lot of the FGC ones. I'll sit down and watch. But Evo in particular is I am taking days off. I am watching the finals. I like this year. I took the days off to watch the finals and everything, and then my TV broke. My big 4K TV decided to have the power just shut down and wouldn't turn on, so I had to watch it on my laptop like a peasant. No, seriously, I was actually upset. I sit and I take the time off. I save up money so I can just have food delivered so I don't have to leave the house for the final Sunday, and then it breaks. And I'm like, well, but no.
No, how could you?
Yeah, yep. I was not happy, and then they told me it was 3 weeks to fix the TV, and I
no.
Enough of the side awards though. We came for one award and one award only. Game of the Year. To recap the nominees, it was Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds. And it went to Sekiro, which shocked me.
I was also surprisised.
Even you, this is your game of the year, you were saying, I
just didn't see it.
like, we both thought Death Stranding, but we both thought there was the distinct possibility that Death Stranding won because maybe Sekiro and Control split the vote of the people that disliked Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
No, it all went to Sekiro.
Yeah.
That's
it's a fantastic game. Like,
Yeah.
it really is. It's not a game for everyone. You know, I'll always tell people that, but it's just it's set the bar for action games for me. That's the thing. You know, like playing Jedi after playing this, expecting to play as well as Sekiro does, and it doesn't, and it frustrates me.
And I should mention, I looked at the FAQ. The deadline for a game to release and get nominated was November 15th.
Okay.
So Pokemon and Jedi Chess didn't get nominated. There could still be the reasoning that, you know, the game didn't get a chance. Like, the nominations were announced a week after that. They didn't get a chance to get on the ballot, really, because they were released on the deadline. Whatever, I digress.
I mean, those games are not gonna. Maybe Pokemon might show up at next year's, but I don't think Jedi.
No, Pokemon wouldn't. I don't think.
Well, I mean, just because of the type of game it is, where
Pokemon would have had a shot at family game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. As like, you know, maybe as a family game will show up there at next year's award, but Jedi. With other games that are gonna be coming out,
yeah,
by the time this
Jedi's
rolls around next year. I just don't see
that just makes me sad because
it's not a bad game, but
I mean, next episode will be our game of the year talk, but y'all could probably figure out what my game of the year was.
we'll get
I'm not wearing any hints at all, guys.
That's right.
No hints at all. None. So yeah, that was the winners. Anything else to say about the winners besides?
No, I mean, honestly, this was like the Super Bowl in the sense that you watch it, you know, because it's a big thing and you want to see who's going to win. But at the end of the day,
it's about the commercials.
I watch just for the commercials.
It's about the commercials.
That's what I watched.
So let's get into that. So that list did come straight from the Game Awards website. You could go check out all the winners there that we didn't mention. But let's talk about the stuff that was announced there.
That's
most of the stuff that was announced there, because there's a lot of stuff I just don't give a shit about.
That's fine with me.
There was just a lot of that stuff. Let's start with what realistically is the biggest one. Xbox Series X.
Right. Not a confusing name at all.
No, they did not have to go and explain this week. Oh, hold on. Hold up. No, they did have to go and explain this week. So Xbox Series X, going forward, everything is just Xbox. Series X is the name of this particular box that they are releasing.
Their new console.
Yes.
Yes.
This particular console is the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
So you can now.
You know what? Which would have been fine if they hadn't just, well, like a year ago or so, released Xbox One X. If that didn't exist, and they called this the Series X, I think would have been a much better name for this console. But because there already is one, I can already see people being like, "Oh, does this game play on my Xbox?" I'm like, "Okay, there's 17 Xbox. Which one is it?" Oh, you know, it's like, "Oh, does it play on my X?" Well, there's 2 X's now. You know, so there's.
And
why not just call it Xbox and be done with it? Just like, boom, here's the Xbox.
Yep. The first one is OX, original Xbox.
Yeah.
The second one is the 360. Then the Xbox One. But now everything's just Xbox. So you have.
It's fine because the first one was so long ago that there's no one that'd be like, "Oh, this game's coming out for the Xbox." It's like, boom, there it is. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, is it for the first one from like 20 years ago?" So.
Right. But yeah, so that was cool. Unexpected.
I was not expecting that at all.
I wasn't. I mean, people were saying, "Well, what if?" Well, what if? Nah, I could not let myself believe.
I would have put money down that there's no way that they will reveal a name or show the console or anything like that at the Game Awards. There's no way.
Real quick, I forgot to mention this is at PC Gamer. This is the list that I'm referencing, by the way. Didn't mention that at the top. The writer is PC Gamer.
Thanks, PC Gamer writer.
Yeah, it literally says PC Gamer. So cool.
Yeah, I was surprised. They didn't show. I mean, they show some generic trailer. That's it's one of those that it's like this is no game attached to it. It's just a CG trailer, and I'm like, it's pretty.
I mean, we knew Halo going in. We knew Halo Infinite was going to be next gen. And then right after showing this, I don't want to move on yet.
Okay.
I want to talk about the way this box looks.
Well, we'll get to that, but they showed the controller briefly.
Yeah, it looks like an Elite.
Yeah, they haven't shown the back of it, so we don't know if it's
I don't know that it's going to have the back toggle.
But it definitely has an extra button.
No, it has the extra button in the middle, and the D-pad
is the Elite control style.
But
it could be like an interchangeable thing, like the Elite controller is.
It could be, but it reminds me of the 360 one enough. And as a fighting game guy, I hated the original Xbox 360. I liked it a little bit better when they released the one that you could like switch over and stuff like that. That was a little bit better, not much.
Yeah.
And so this one I really just need it to be interchangeable. Like
it comes with your tiny little mini fridge.
Yeah, that's exactly what this thing looks like. It's a fridge. Apparently it's intended to stand tall.
But there's, I want to say that there was after everyone was like, oh my gosh, this thing, it's, supposed to be like this big, comparison size to like the controller's this big, and so it's supposed to be like this big.
No.
Apparently they sent some info out there that yes, you can set it on the side.
Yeah, you could. That was immediately available that you could set it on the side. Just the fact that they're showing it off on
they show all the consoles like that though. Honestly, like every marketing thing you see for like the Xbox or at least for the PlayStation, they always show stand up.
Let me reiterate. It's the way they have the logo.
Yes, that makes it look like it should be.
Because the logo is facing. And then the disc slot is on the bottom, not the top, which it's interesting. And it's not like the PS3 and the PS2 when they did that. The logo you could actually flip to where this looks like it's the power button and unflippable. But I mean, I don't know. We're a year away from having this thing in our hands. We don't know what they're going to end up doing. Microsoft would be crazy. They
sure be.
Yeah, that was a
huge announcement.
That was huge. And for it to come that early, like that wasn't a closer. That was like the
kind of opened the show with that. I want to say that at least when I started watching it, it was right in the middle of that, and I want to say that there was some other stuff announced right before it, but like it was one of the first things that they announced. So surprising. I'm excited to see kind of what
and then
what more they show. So
Papa Spencer comes out. He says, "Yeah, hey, that's the box, y'all.
Yeah,
that's the box.
There it is.
Cool. Hey, we got a trailer for you.
Yeah.
And it's Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
Right.
Again, out of goddamn nowhere.
I mean, we know that they were working on something. I wasn't expecting a sequel to Senua.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
But they acquired Ninja Theory. And a couple years, like a year ago, I want to say, or at least like at last year's E3.
2018.
Yeah, last year's E3,
right?
they basically announced like, hey, we have this studio, but they acquired all these other studios.
We acquired all these studios. We acquired a studio that their last game was not on our console until after we acquired them. It was a PS4 exclusive at first, and now it's on Switch too.
Not to spoil Senua at all, but like, I don't see what they do with this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I haven't played it. It's one that it's on the list of things I need to play.
Fantastic game. If you haven't played Senua, the first one, really interesting game. Really just a super unique experience. But having played that, I don't know what they do with this game. Like, I don't know where they go from how that story plays out. I don't know if this is a prequel or something, or if it's a side story. But I definitely love that lady's gum, as she's like like her mouth was just super weird, and I don't know. I just don't know what to say about that game. Again, because all they've shown was just like a CG, like a cutscene. So,
not an announcement necessarily, but in the pre-show, so very clearly this article is a bit out of order, but in the pre-show we got the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer that was really heavily focused on Cloud.
Yep.
I don't know that it showed anything new that I cared about, but I was still giddy as all get out when I seen this.
It's like 3 months away or something.
Yeah, March.
I know, it's almost
March.
here. I still don't believe it.
like all this year since we started the show, we were talking about how, man, we get into November and it is just this game and then this game and then this game. It was Death Stranding and then Jedi and then Pokemon, and now we finally are in this lull and we're going to have to start talking about, my God, March, it begins hell.
Right.
March begins hell. Like,
we'll see if
how
anything gets pushed from there.
How can I afford to buy these games and play them? Like, they're coming out so fast, and they're going to be such big games. Like, Final Fantasy VII, I have no doubt, is if you mainline the story, you might be able to finish this game in 50 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's supposed to be a huge thing.
And it's the first third of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
the crazy thing, too, is not only can you afford it, but technically you should be saving up because, hey, there's 2 new consoles coming out in a year.
How can I get to play this game? Because I'm going to need... I know I'm taking time off work to play a couple of these games, but then, like, man, they're making life hard.
I know.
These folks are out here making life hard
got
between
the first of the world problems.
The first of the world problems. The first worldiest of the first
problems.
world
Yep.
problems.
Yep, that's us.
I'm going to have to take time off work to play Final Fantasy and Cyberpunk and Avengers. Avengers, at least, I think is probably only going to be 10 hours, but if I was guessing.
Man, but it's supposed to be a multiplayer. Anyway, we're digressing.
We're digressing. Let's talk about some of that other stuff that's coming next gen. Godfall, the first game announced with PS5 at the end officially.
Yeah.
This looked like an interesting game. Gearbox, interesting company on it. They're publishing, and Counterplay Games is making it. I don't know what the hell to make out of this.
Another just CG trailer. It's probably, again, we don't know anything about the game, but it's going to go down in history as like the first officially announced PlayStation 5 game, I think.
Quoting the article, quoting the devs, Godfall is described as a looter slasher by the devs.
Right. So that's what we're talking about. So they announced it, they showed the trailer, and then they talked about that. So that kind of gets me excited. If it's a, like a Diablo style, hack and slash, where you're killing enemies, they're dropping items, and you equip them, like that's my jam. Like that's my favorite style of game. So something like that, if it turns out to be good, awesome. I wonder, do you think it's a launch title? Since it's like the first one that was announced, do you think it's going to be a launch title for the PS5?
Sure, yeah.
I think so.
Like, it is dated 2020. Yeah. That doesn't, like, defining launch title, was Infamous Second Son a launch title for the PS4?
Let's say launch window.
Okay, launch window, yes, it's absolutely launch window.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Infamous Second Son is definitely a launch window, but it was like 5 months late.
That's not a launch window. I think launch window is like within like a month.
A month.
Yeah.
So
game comes out, and then there's gonna be a good probably like between 5 and 8 games at least that are all gonna be available like day one for the console. I want to say that within the first 30 days after the console is out, that's what I consider launch window.
Okay. I mean, 2020, I'm assuming November. So, yeah. I would think...
Because it depends on when the console comes out.
Yeah. Assuming November, yeah, absolutely. 2020, yes, easy. Something that I doubt is going to be on any launch window is the League of Legends stuff that Riot is pimping here.
Yeah, they announced a couple different League of Legends, like, single player
Yeah,
story-driven things?
Ruined King is, I'm going to quote the article here. Ruined King is the first single-player League of Legends to be announced, a turn-based RPG from Darksiders Genesis developer Airship Syndicate.
That gets me excited. I like their art style. I like the art style of League. I like the Darksiders stuff, but they also did like Battle Chasers, Night War.
Yeah.
Night War, I think is what it was.
That sounds right.
So, a big company with a big IP that has a lot of stuff which I know nothing about, but I know the community, the people that play League, they like, oh, this character's, this is the story or whatever.
And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that lore, that Destiny stuff that I hate, where it's not in the game.
You're not playing it to see it. It's just all on the outside of it.
Like you can, collectibles. I'm glad they're gonna actually do something to put some of that lore into the game.
Yeah. I'm excited because if this does well, that can just add so much more. There's so much more that they can, because they have so many heroes and stuff like that. There's so much more they can do in that universe if this turns out, good and people are responding to it well. So,
speaking of LoL, Convergence.
Right.
That is the other game they announced, developed by Double Stallion Games. I'm gonna quote the article here again because I don't know anything about LoL. You'll play as Echo, who has invented a device that can manipulate time and face the huge consequences of doing so. No release date was announced. It's a platformer apparently also. That gets me hyped. I love platformers. Sure, yeah. Platformers are probably one of my favorite genres. I mean,
Blinks. Blinks. What was that? The cat name? The cat's
Blinks. Yeah.
Blinks, the time sweeper, right?
Something like that.
Sounds right. Yeah, it's another one of those.
It's another. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we're not necessarily doing what we've been playing, but I mean, I'm playing Shovel Knight right now quite a bit, and because of the new DLC, and so I'm all for another platformer. Another good platformer. Good platformer.
I mean, we're all for good games. So if it's a good game, I'm all for it.
I mean, good MMOs don't get me usually. Destiny's the exception. That I like you can do good, but let's see what do I want to talk about next? Control Expeditions. This is one that I'm sure you're hyped about.
Yeah.
This new mode looks interesting.
It looks interesting, yeah. I mean, Control, one of the very few gripes I have with Control was the fact that I did like the combat, but you had to really search for it. Like as you're going through the story, then you get into like a little combat scenario, and then it's over, and then you move on. But if you're kind of either trying to level up, or if you're kind of jonesing for the combat or whatever, because it was a ton of fun, you really had to like travel a lot and kind of go through all these different rooms, just try to find enemies that would spawn. So this being more combat focused, should be interesting for sure. Yeah, haven't checked it out yet, but because I think it's out, isn't it? Then they said that it was like available now, or I thought it was one of those that it's like either available now or about to drop or something. I might be wrong. I just I remember having the sense that it was one of those. So,
it might be out. Quoting this, the Foundation, the first DLC, first story DLC is March 26th.
Yeah, I
believe Expeditions was free.
Yeah, I think Expeditions is free, but then the other stuff is paid content. So,
PlayerUnknown has a new game, Prologues. From what I'm hearing, it's not going to be a shooter.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, because I'm not don't care about Battle Royale. I've checked out PUBG a couple times, but
I mean, PUBG was never my thing. Like I said, I like art style, and there's not a style to PUBG. Like people say that Jank is a mechanic in that no, it's not. Jank's not a mechanic in that game. Like I know they fixed a lot, but still, cool. I mean, he took the world by storm. Prologue showed nothing. Like
there's a few of those.
There's always those.
It's the announcements that I hate the most, where they just like, hey, here's a name, here's kind of what this is, but we're gonna show you nothing really, and that's that. So, it could be whatever it is. As long as it's not another battle royale, whatever, I'm down.
Let's go to the Magic Legends MMO. So I didn't know for sure that this was an MMO when I watched the
Yeah.
trailer either. It wasn't until later reading stuff about it that they said this is an MMO. So
I did not realize that at all.
it's an MMO set in the Magic the Gathering universe, apparently. Again, I couldn't tell you anything about the lore or what this game's going to end up being about, but I know like it's pretty exciting for Magic players who wanted some more of that lore.
I mean, I'm excited because I'm a big MMO guy, and there really hasn't been a high-profile MMO in a while. Like for a few years there, like it seemed like everyone was doing an MMO.
Like, would you even take Destiny as an MMO? Yeah, like
Yeah, I don't take Destiny as an MMO because it's more of one of those like shared game.
Right.
Like just like I don't take Division as an MMO. Or maybe I'll classify them as like MMO light, where you can group up with people and you can there's all this. You got to log into a server and there's this whole community aspect, but it's not what I consider an MMO.
So what is the last MMO release that you consider MMO? Warframe?
No, not even then. Like I'm talking like some World of Warcraft or like the Star Wars MMO, like some of those like Final Fantasy 14, like those to me are more like just straight up MMOs versus just looter shooter that you can go in and play by yourself and not have to, I guess is I don't know, classes to me, like having like different classes and having to get a group together to do a certain thing. I know that Destiny has the raids and so does Division have raids, but yeah, it's more like again MMO light. But I didn't know that this was. I guess during the announcement, it just wasn't clear that it was some sort of MMO.
It wasn't.
This kind of gets me excited because I'm not super versed on Magic, but everything that I've ever seen about it looks cool. And if they can somehow implement, that style, or I'll be a little disappointed if it's just like another WoW clone. Honestly, like if it's just another like, oh, here's a mage and here are your spells, and it might be what they do, because I don't know how they can do the card game as part of it. Like, I don't know. Again, there's a lot of things that they could do. They could even go as far as like, each person has a deck or something, a deck to like cast spells, and then when you go up, you do your thing. But that's almost like a Yu-Gi-Oh style, like gonna toss a card at them to like do a thing.
You mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh. You invoked that name. I'm gonna.
Blue Eyes, White Dragon.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's my only Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
That's the thing.
Is that?
No, I'm still sad. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid. I was god awful at it, and that's why I don't play anymore. Where is our VR game with the little thing on your arm where you're actually playing your monsters and like having them show up and changing the stage and stuff like that? Why Konami?
Because they don't make video games anymore.
That's right. They don't make video games anymore. They make pachinko machines and card games. Yeah. That's right.
Although there was a Yu-Gi-Oh game that came out not that long ago, but I think it was a re-release, like Duels of Fate or Duelist of Fate.
Yeah, and they have their mobile game. That's a version of the game too. Just do better, Konami. For the love of God. For the love of God. Let's talk about something that actually surprised us in one sense, but not the other. Because earlier in the week they had announced that Ghost of Tsushima would be there. They showed the first part of the trailer, pretty much. So Ghost of Tsushima was there.
PS5 title. Wait.
Nope. Yeah, we had been hearing that it was going to be launch PS5, basically the last thing on PS4 in the launch for PS5. It was going to be one of those fringe games.
I absolutely believed that was the case.
And then no, summer, right?
Summer.
Yeah. Cool. I'm super excited for this game. That means that Sony has enough faith in this game to close out their generation.
Yeah.
And they always close their gens hard. Like,
I mean, Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us. And we were expecting Last of Us 2 to close this one because Last of Us,
I'm really surprised. Well, first of all, in the trailer, It was more of like a cinematic trailer.
Yeah, it was cinematic. I mean, there was some
There was
gameplay.
some gameplay. They show some cool stuff about him, like on the horse, and they're like
Uh-huh.
just jumping from the horse, and getting a guy and him. Um,
And I mean, Sucker Punch. They're just they're good.
Honestly, it reminded me of Sekiro. It reminded me of like, is this like a DLC for Sekiro? Like, because as he was up there and he like jumps down to like kill an enemy, I'm like, okay, hey,
I see you.
I can. I mean, I liked one of those games, so this one is gonna be fantastic. But yeah, I really wonder what kind of game this is gonna be. How just big really is gonna be, since you have a horse. So anytime that I think a game gives you some sort of mount, it
Yeah,
makes it sound
some
like
kind of transportation.
it's gonna be just a huge game. But I'm very surprised that it's summer. I for sure was like, you know what? They announced this game a few years ago. They really haven't shown anything. They didn't show anything at this year's E3, and like this is gonna be a PS5.
So yeah, let's take an aside. We have 3 games for holiday next season right now.
I think it's
Maybe?
because
We're on the verge of a console launch.
yeah, but I think it's one of those things that, and I think this happens every time, which is we know there's a console coming, and so that's why the Godfall was super surprising to me as well, that it said PS5, because usually the pattern is they announce that there is a new console coming, there's no name or there's no nothing, right? And then early in the year, they do some sort of big conference, they announce the name of the console, sometimes they announce the price and the release date, most of the time they do that at E3, but they show that, they actually show UI, they show some games, and once that's out, then all these games are like, boom, hey, this is coming for PS4. Hey, this is coming PS4. Hey, this is coming PS4. That's what happened. So I'm expecting it to be like this because as it stands right now, we have no idea what's coming holiday other than the 2 consoles.
Prediction? Knack 3 on PS5.
Thanks for watching, guys. That's Kenny. I mean, they could.
They could.
They could if they really wanted to.
They might. They might.
But I think that's what's going to happen is I still believe early in the year next year, before E3, I guess I'll say, they'll have a conference or some sort of press thing where they will show what the console looks like, they will show UI, they will, announce maybe some games and stuff like that. And then come E3, they'll probably do price and release date. And because at E3 it will be also the games are going to be coming out for it. So it's going to be like, hey, we'll announce when this is coming. So then it lets the companies do their own announcements. If there's going to be a new Call of Duty for it, they can't come out now and be like, hey, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or whatever the next one is going to be.
Oh, God.
They can't really say a release date because they're waiting for Sony and Microsoft to do their own thing if it's coming for this console. So I think that's kind of why we don't know, but...
Okay. Just for funsies. When are those announcements? I got PS5 in March. That conference of here's games, here's some more of the specs. They've already done a lot of that in like Wired interviews, but they haven't had like a big press briefing for it. I mean, Sony hasn't realistically had a press briefing or anything like that in a year and a half.
Right.
Since E3 2018, they have not had that briefing. So I think that's what this is. This is that thing they did for PS4 where Mark Cerny comes out and talks for a couple hours. And honestly...
Where it's just a conference and it's just them. It's like, hey, here's a new console.
And
here's all the cool things that it does.
Now, since they have announced like the specs and stuff, do they show the box? Do they price it then?
I think it's going to be some Price is Right rules. I think it's February they're going to do it. Because I want to say that's what they did for the PS4.
That is when they did it for the PS4. The only reason I went March is I'm thinking they're going to do it after Q4 2019. I think that's how they kick off their quarter. Because
I could see that.
I could also see them doing it in February, so that way they can say on their yearly forecast call, hey, got the PS5, we got all this hype around it, stuff like that. I could see it going anyway. Microsoft is going to do Microsoft because that's what they did last time. They announced it in May, like a month before E3, and then they announced the E3, and Sony went. And realistically, that's why Sony is winning this generation, because they showed up to E3 and were like, "Look at these morons! You want here?
I mean, yeah.
Here, you want to borrow a game? There you go."
Yeah, Microsoft. I mean, not to really go crazy with them, but like, they tried a thing, and it absolutely backfired on them, and they backtracked, and they spent this entire generation walking back
they were
trying to like change the perspective.
And in their defense, they did what the devs wanted them to do.
Right.
Like, realistically, if they could have stuck to their guns, we would have had more games on Xbox than PlayStation.
But to this day, I still have people that will ask me, like, for the Xbox ones, like, "Oh, this is the one that I need to be connected online, right?" And it's like, no, but since day one, that was the message. It's stuck.
Yeah, they still haven't got over that messaging.
So
it's
I think, I mean, they could do it in January, right? But just because I don't know, I know it's kind of a crappy prediction, really. I believe that both consoles before E3 have some sort of announcement, some sort of press conference thingy that they'll show games, they'll show what the box looks like, they'll show more stuff. You know, with Microsoft, yeah, they show what the box looks like, but then, you know, talk about the controller. If there's some
something cool about the controller, yeah.
Whatever. So they'll go through all of that, and then E3, I believe, is when release date and how much it costs.
Okay. We're getting some more 2020 stuff here. We got one more Game Awards thing. There was, of course, one more thing.
That was another.
We're gonna do two more things.
Okay.
We're gonna mention the actual very last thing that they announced.
Okay.
But the last thing of import, in my opinion, The Wolf Among Us 2. What the hell?
That was my second biggest surprise of the
right.
Sure.
Of course,
the new Xbox being the first one, was not expecting. The fact that they announced Wolf Among Us 2.
Right. Like,
blew my mind. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, Telltale died. So an investment group brought them back to life. And they went and they found a company that was founded by a bunch of former Telltale employees to work on The Wolf Among Us 2. They've announced that they're going to use Unreal Engine 4, I believe, or Unity. Like, they're not using the old Telltale engine that had a set of eyeballs floating in Batman. So
this wasn't a thing where, like, the last Walking Dead thing, I think Telltale had it basically done, or was like close to done, and then they went out of business or got whatever, and then another company like kind of finished it up.
Skybound, Robert Kirkman's company that actually them and Image publish The Walking Dead. They're the ones who came through.
Yeah, but it was one of those things like, hey, this game is whatever 80%, 90% done, so they kind of finished it and put it out there. Do you think Wolf Among Us was that, or was it just
no?
It sounds like making it and
no. It sounds like any work that was being done on Wolf Among Us 2 was scrapped, and it's a whole new thing.
I'm excited. If you haven't played Wolf Among Us,
it's the best Telltale game.
Honestly, I agree. Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I'm biased because I don't care about The Walking Dead, and I know a lot of people love The Walking Dead. Cool.
Walking Dead games were cool, but this was, I think, was a better story.
And I enjoyed Batman. I enjoyed Batman. The second season ended weird, but I enjoyed Batman. But The Wolf Among Us just stands out. I think I enjoyed Batman more because the first time I played Wolf Among Us was because if you bought the first season of Batman, you got The Wolf Among Us as free.
Hey, do you think this is going to be an episodic thing?
Yeah.
Or you don't think that they'll just release it and it's like, hey, here's just number 2, everything? Do you think it's going to go back to here's episode 1, wait a few months, here's episode 2?
I want it to be all at once. I want it to be. I hate episodic because, like with Batman, I bought the whole first season all at once and I had to wait every month to play another couple of hours. That's not my favorite way to play games. That's not my favorite way to consume media. In mostly general, like a couple of TV shows being the exception. It's Telltale. There's some Telltale traditions that you just got to
Right.
keep. It and that's fine if they're getting rid of the janky ass shit that the old games did. Then they can do whatever they want. They
Right.
can go on any release schedule they want. Like, well, no, not any. Like, hold, time
I'm
out.
excited for
Not
it.
any, but yeah.
Yeah, excited for it.
The last thing that was announced, Michelle Rodriguez and Vin Diesel come out on stage.
Oh boy.
Hey, and both pretty clearly pretty stoned.
Vin Diesel plays games. We know that.
And they show off Fast and Furious Crossroads that is going to have a whole lot of at least Vin in it. I think Michelle was in there a little bit too. I don't
That
recall.
was some rough stuff.
This game,
It's garbage.
the year 2020 of our Lord, this game is going to release. And this looks like some stuff that I could put together in my basement with a PS1.
This is some like PS2.
Oh, you're giving them
graphics.
way more
I
credit
am.
than me.
But this is garbage from a butt.
I
for sure.
could not believe they came out and showed this. Like, Fast and Furious game, cool, you know, that's whatever. Like, say what you want about the franchise, whether you hate it or love it. It's big, dumb fun, and that is perfect for video games.
I love the Fast and Furious,
Yeah.
Furious franchise.
It's-
Seen every movie. Love every single one of them. This looks worse than like indie games that were shown and indie games that won or were nominated looked way better than this gigantic. This is like one of the most profitable like IPs in the world.
and
Like
they-
their last movie made like $1 billion and some crazy shit.
No, this
So,
is that shovelware stuff that dominated back in like the SNES era and stuff, where
Yeah.
you know every movie had a game. Were you even a movie if you had a game? Like no, you weren't.
this is a little better than like Wii graphics.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
This was bad. But yeah,
That's just a game, but man, whew, those two,
they were higher than hell.
rough.
They were not standing on the stage. They were floating about an inch above it.
Yeah. Some rough stuff for sure.
But so that's the Game Awards. It was a fun year.
Yeah.
You know, it was actually a good show. It's been a good show since it left Spike, I think.
I think so.
I think this one in particular was a lot cleaner because it wasn't like, hey, let's get some people who just want some money to come perform. Like, no, they had churches come out and perform the Death Stranding song, and you know, stuff like that.
I think they learn kind of what
They-
makes that show.
yeah,
where
they've learned as they go.
yes, a lot of people watch it for the awards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that the awards are as prestigious as some people think it is.
Yeah,
You
this
know,
one,
It's one of those that's just
look,
like
it's the one that puts on a big show.
it does,
it-
but it's not like Sekiro winning Game of the Year. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be a thing that people are like, oh, I can't believe that they won. I can't believe this other. Like, they won't put a trailer out and say like winner Game Awards, Game of the Year. Like that's just not a thing.
No, now the fact that they're winning a couple more, they might, but they won GameSpot, I believe.
Yeah, but again, it's the same. I put them at the same level as like winning, IGN or Kotaku's or Polygon's Game of the Year.
Right.
Like, where it's just like it's nice that they won, and it's let's say from a place that's respected, but I think that they understand that and they know that a lot of people watch it because they get a lot of big announcements.
Right.
So I think they kind of been leaning.
No,
more
I wouldn't have
into
watched.
that.
We wouldn't be talking about it if there weren't announcements.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would have read a list after to see who won, but if, Sekiro didn't win Game of the Year and Death Stranding won, I'd be like, well, that's
Cool.
what I thought. Whatever. But I watched it for the announcements, so they kind of know, I think, what they're doing, which is they sprinkle in, some of the awards, and then they show the announcements, and then awards, and then announcements, and they just keep going back and forth, and it's a good mix.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we got a few minutes.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. How you doing, Ken?
I'm good.
all
How are
right?
you?
Yeah.
I'm good. So,
Excited for the movie tomorrow?
I
Comes out tomorrow, technically?
I got my tickets for tonight. No big deal. No
We
movie.
can just sit here and chat.
So yeah, what you what you think about 2020? We just talked about a little bit about consoles.
yeah,
What you thinking? You thinking we're getting that Horizon 3 as the launch title? Horizon 2 as the launch title? No, they're skipping 2. They're going to 3.
right. It's strange to 3. It's always exciting when a new console comes out.
Yeah.
I keep wondering if there's a new thing, right? Um, because I feel like we're almost at a plateau when it comes to like graphical fidelity and things
Right.
like that. So I don't see a console like, and that could be, I could be completely wrong because games that come out now for the PlayStation 4, of course, they look way better than games that came like launch games for the PlayStation 4. So, but it wasn't that huge leap of like going from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 or something of like, holy crap, this is what games look like now? I don't see it being like that. Because games already look fantastic as is.
Right.
It's hard to imagine this looking
Yeah,
any better.
After like the PS2 to PS3, it is just like we're just smoothing things out.
Yeah,
and
so I don't
blurring
see
that line
but
between
like,
reality a little bit more.
so if that's not the case, and some crazy like load times, which PS5
is saying they're doing.
is
Yeah.
saying that they're doing, but other than that, like, what's new? And maybe there isn't anything, and it's just games will look better and will load faster, and you know what? I'll be happy with that. But I wonder if it's some other
So
craziness, but I don't know. I don't know
also
what it could be.
also this week we got the PS4 attachment that's going on the controllers
Right.
that adds a back button. And a lot of people are theorizing
That now that's just going to be what the PS5 DualShock
yeah,
is
that
gonna
the
have.
PS5 DualShock is just going to come with it. Do you think that's what do you think of that? Do you think that's what they're doing, like testing that for response?
I mean, because there's
Also, it makes the PS4 controller now look like a N64 controller, and it's disturbing.
I don't know. I know they're definitely doing some changes to the new DualShock, because they talked about that on that Wire interview, but it depends because there's definitely like there needs to be parity between the or there has been parity between the Xbox and the PlayStation. So if the new Xbox comes
With back
with
buttons.
an elite style controller that has like, hey, we added 4 extra buttons to this, and it's just standard, which means that developers can just use that for their games. Now that means okay, so games that come out on here won't come out
Right.
on the PlayStation because it won't have the buttons to do
Well, my concern is it's not going to do what I want it to do. I just want the back buttons to replace sticks, having to push on the sticks to do stuff. And if they do that to where everything they just add 4 extra buttons, then they're not going to take away those 2.
But do you not think that that's just gonna now?
Oh, I'm sure that's
much
what.
more complicated, and it's it just kind of raises that like, that bar for entrance for someone that's like, hey, I'm just getting into gaming. So here's a controller that has like 16 buttons.
Yeah, it would have. It literally would at that point. Like, realistically, four faces, 2 triggers, 2 sticks, and 4 backs. Yeah, that's about 14.
Yeah, so like a controller that just for someone that like used to play something and he had like the D-pads and then 2 buttons, and now it's like, oh, here's this, and there's 4 buttons, and 4 buttons, and 4 buttons, and
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're at 18 buttons because most games just use the sticks for movement, and then the D-pad becomes another 4 buttons. Yeah, man, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, for me, I'm fine with it, but how do you get people to like, to get into this when they just keep making it that much complicated?
Like
so,
the only things you don't use are pinkies.
Yeah, I could see them adding like 2 buttons in the back, and maybe the Xbox doing the same thing.
Okay, they can do that, but I still just want those 2 buttons to take away from me having to use sticks.
Oh no,
That's
they're
all
just
I
gonna
want.
make it as 2 extra buttons.
Yeah, it sucks.
So.
And I mean, right now the back button for the PS4 is just gonna be a mappable button, not necessarily a spare.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could like turbo it to do a combination of R2, L2, or whatever, so that you just hit that button, that's your ultimate, or something like that.
Because that's the thing. It's like if they announce that, or the Xbox, the crazy thing would be if the Xbox announces like, yeah, our controller has like 4 extra buttons in the back, and the PlayStation doesn't have that. I don't know where we go from here. Of like games are going to be coming out, and you can have, they can be even more complicated because you have all these extra buttons. Because either games are going to use that, and that it's going to be the default, and so that means that those games won't come out on the PlayStation, or it's a thing that developers can use as extra sets, but it's not required. So then the game can also come out on the PlayStation. I don't know. There's more stuff that they're going to announce. I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
it's always fun when a new console
Yeah,
comes out.
it's one of those times to be alive, man. But, of course, we don't have 2020 vision. We don't know what's going to happen next year.
I don't, clearly.
We don't have 2020 vision for what's going to happen in 2020.
Do you have 2020 vision?
No, I'm wearing contacts.
We definitely don't have 2020 vision.
But what do you think's going to happen? Maybe you know what's going to happen in the year 2020.
Do you have 2020 vision? Let me know.
Yeah,
what that's
drop
like.
Drop it in the comments. Did you go get that LASIK? I've been thinking about that LASIK. How's that LASIK working out for you?
Yeah.
What did you think of the Game Awards? What did you think of the announcements? What was your favorite one? What was your favorite one that we missed? Because we definitely skipped a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Not going to even try to mention it right now. Until next year, where next episode is our Game of the Year discussion.
That's right.
We're going to talk about things and stuff and
talk about like 4 games for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm coming with the top 5.
I'm coming with a list. We'll go over some stuff.
Yeah, we'll set the rules between us, and then you'll be surprised what we do. What will win? We're All Geeks Game of the Year. Spoiler,
first one.
It's going to get split.
That's right.
It's going to get split so bad. We're going to have to figure out a point system or something.
That's right. We will.
Like, how about this? The one that actually appears on both of our lists wins.
Right? Oh, fudge. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, check back next time.
Yeah, so until 2020, I'm Kenny.
I'll fleet back.
Bye.